In Central City, where Bary Allen stops for a meal before heading to work, the movie begins. He receives a call from Alfred while he waits for the sandwich to be prepared, notifying him of a mission he needs to attend. To save a hospital from falling into a sinkhole, Bary dons his Flash outfit and races to the scene. While he is saving those on the ground floor, a portion of the structure collapses, and numerous newborns from the maternity unit start to tumble out of the window. Bary climbs to the top but finds that he is running low on energy because he hasn't eaten, so he breaks into a vending machine and eats food until he has enough energy to save every kid. Batman is pursuing a group of crooks who have a deadly virus nearby. They are in their possession. After leading the bad guys on a chase in his Bat-cycle, Batman assaults them before engaging the main offender and ramming his getaway car off a bridge. He drags them up to the bridge by grappling them, and Wonder Woman uses her lasso to pull them up. The Justice League members applaud Flash for his work even if he arrives a little late. After that, Bary arrives late at the research center where he finds Patty Spivot and Albert Desmond waiting while their boss reprimands him for being late once more. In public interviews, the boss also praises recent advancements in their job. The approaching trial of Bary's father Henry, who has been in prison for more than 20 years after being falsely convicted of killing his wife Nora, is brought up by one of the reporters, Iris West, who knows Bary from college. Bary insists on his dad's innocence. Bary and Henry later speak on the phone to go over security footage from the shop where Henry was when Nora was killed in order to establish Henry's alibi. Bary worries that the evidence will be accepted because it is impossible to see Henry's face to establish his presence. When Bary is ready to return to his childhood home, he dons the Flash outfit. He remembers going with Henry to get the can of tomatoes Nora needed for dinner when he was a kid on that particular day. He went back to the kitchen after hearing Nora crying and discovered her there with a knife in her chest. Bary was unable to do anything but watch in horror as his father clutched his mother's corpse in his arms. Then, as he continues to run extremely quickly, Bary begins to witness everything that has happened during the day up until the point where he had to save the infants. He tells Bruce that he has just realized he can run quickly enough to travel back in time at least a day. Bruce explains to Bary that sometimes people need to go through these painful experiences in order to shape who they have to be when Bary suggests that he can travel further back in time to save both his mother and Bruce's parents. After Bruce has left, Iris arrives to speak with Bary about Henry's case. After some deliberation, Bary determines that there is a way to prevent Nora's passing. The idea is to travel across time and place the tomato can in Nora's shopping cart so that she will always remember it and Henry won't have to leave the house. As a result, Nora's demise is successfully avoided, allowing for a future in which Bary still has both of his parents. However, just as Bary enters his 18th year of life, a second villainous-looking speedster appears and knocks Bary out of his speed force, causing him to land back in front of his house. When Bary enters the home, he is overcome with emotion at the sight of his mother and the fact that Henry is no longer behind bars. While eating lunch with them, he is startled to find his 18-year-old self walking toward the house. Bary too is captured by Bary, who he takes to his room where he explains his superpowers and where he came from in the future. The date is then mentioned as being September 29th, which is the day Bary received his powers, by Bary 2. In order for Bary 2 to experience the identical odd accident that gave Bary his powers, the two Barys travel to the research facility. Bary steps in front of Bary 2 just as he starts to freak out, and then the lightning hits both of them. The guards appear, and they start to flee. However, Bary notices that he is unable to phase or move quickly, indicating that he has lost his powers, whilst Bary 2 has successfully obtained them. When they get back to Bary 2's apartment, he starts using his powers carelessly, and the elder Bary has to intervene to encourage him to behave better. The following day, as Bary is going to give Bary 2 his suit, they notice a throng gathered around a television watching news reports about General Zod and his army of Kryptonians coming to Earth to locate Bary, who they believe to be Superman. When they return to Bary 2's apartment, they discover that Patty and Albert are dating in addition to being Bary 2's roommates. In this version of events, when Bary tries to locate the other Justice League members, he discovers that Victor Stone hasn't yet evolved into Cyborg, Thomas Curry hasn't married Atlanta and given birth to Arthur, and Wonder Woman also doesn't exist. Bary sets out to discover Batman after everyone else affirms his existence. When the Barrys visit Wayne Manor to look for Bruce, they discover an older, less presentable Bruce who has been left alone since his Alfred's passing. As Gotham City has never been safer, he has become angrier and stepped down from his role as Batman. Bruce informs Bary he ended up opening other realities in the multiverse when he describes himself and his alternative future. The Barrys sneak into the Batcave and start researching on Bruce's computer after Bruce declines to assist them in finding Superman. After a while, Bary grows tired with his younger self's foolishness and immaturity, but he is unable to bring himself to acknowledge the real reason he traveled back in time. Bary then speaks with Bruce via the camera and is able to persuade him to assist. Bruce dons the Batsuit once more and hands the Barrys a paperwork that details the imprisonment of a Kryptonian at a facility in Siberia. The group sneaks into the base in Siberia using the Batwing to fly there. Instead of Calle, a young Kryptonian woman named Kara Zor-El is in the chamber that they discover. The heroes manage to free her, but after being discovered, the mercenaries shoot Bary too in the leg. Batman uses an explosive charge to assist them escape, but once they are in the open, the mercenaries trap Batman and the Barrys. However, Kara is revived by the sun and starts to beat the mercenaries before passing out once more. After the fall of Krypton, the boys bring Kara back to Wayne Manor, where she reveals that she is Kal-El's cousin and was sent there to look out for him. She dons her Supergirl suit and leaves to battle after finding out that Zod is on Earth. Kara distrusts people because they imprisoned and experimented on her, despite Bary 2's efforts to persuade her to help them save the world. Just before they execute a soldier for failing to bring Zod, Kara, who is on her way to get Zod, spots him with his goon Faura. She then sees the other Kryptonians massacre the troops before help arrives. Then, in order to regain his powers, Bary seeks Bruce for assistance in reenacting the lightning storm. They put up a machine to accomplish it, but after the initial bolt of lightning, Bary 2 orders Bruce to restart the machine even though Bary appears injured and attempts to convince him to stop. Although the machine's circuits are destroyed, Kara flies over and drags Bary above the clouds for a more powerful lightning strike that effectively restores his powers. Then, the heroes decide to confront and defeat Zod. In an effort to terraform Earth, Zod is ready to do so using his world engine. The two Barrys and Kara charge into battle the Kryptonians while both Flashes seek out efficient strategies to defeat unbeatable warriors. As Batman soars in the Batwing above to offer backup, Zod dispatches his ferocious henchman Namek to present a greater threat. Zod meets Kara and claims that they have been after her instead of Kal-El the entire time in order to obtain her blood for the Codex to reassemble Krypton. Supergirl starts battling the bad guy after Zod declares Kal-El dead. She is overpowered by Zod and Faura, who then impale Kara to get her blood. In the end, Batman sacrifices himself by colliding with Zod's aircraft but is unable to bring it down. Devastated by the loss of their friends, the Barrys race back in time to save them. Batman loses the battle against Namek, but Kara is still dead. Before they successfully blow up Namek and use a piece of his armor to impale Faura, Bary laments the loss of Bruce. Bary then pursues Bary 2 as he begins to sprint back. Every scenario ends with the deaths of Kara and Bruce and the destruction of Earth by Zod, so they become trapped in their speed force. Bary 2 is eventually stopped by the evil speedster who caused the disaster, who just so happens to be a much older Bary who hasn't given up trying to mend everything, as Bary grows increasingly enraged as he attempts to stop Bary 2. Multiple worlds and timelines start to collide as a result, bringing with them numerous alternate Supermen, an alternate Batman, and different Flashes. Dark Flash gets ready to kill Bary for attempting to travel back in time and reverse saving Nora, but Bary 2 strikes first, eliminating Dark Flash and repairing the other universes. Then, as Bary laments his earlier self, he starts to run across time. Back at the store, Bary is ready to remove the tomato can from Nora's cart. He says to her for a moment that this is the final time he will see his mother before breaking down in tears. He is comforted by Nora, and before switching, Bary pauses to once more appreciate his mother. The security camera at the store is then brought to his attention before he goes back home to his timeline. Bary attends Henry's trial, where his attorney plays newly upgraded video that Bary moved the camera to capture better images of Henry. This effectively establishes both his alibi and his innocence, enabling him to remain unpunished. Bary meets Iris again after the trial and they decide to have supper. Just as he pulls up to the courthouse, he receives a call from Bruce congratulating him. Bary is then horrified to see that this Bruce is not the